Joe.
Thank you so
You've
much.
been alderman for several years. What incident or what situation or something influenced you to start running now for the mayor of New Haven?
I got very involved when I was like 9 years old. The whole cross situation that's going on now with that young man trying to run student government and Board of Education and giving them a hard time about certain things and following rules and regulations. I remember marching down Church Street. Bart Goddard was the mayor then, and I was just a senior in high school, and it was about the conditions similar to the same thing that's happening today. Some 30, 40 years later, New Haven's still faced with some of the same things. So as a person who has been in the political light for 16 years, I thought it would be an excellent opportunity now that people have seen that there are other choices out here, including myself, that could be a good mayor in the city. Now's the time to run.
2011, you stood for the reason why entering the race, and I'm going to quote, "We can no longer bear the strain of the status quo. We must develop a new vision and a new direction for the city." What is the vision? What is the direction?
The vision is to address the issue of human and quality of life issues in New Haven. People are tired, and they're saying enough is enough. There's killings that's been going on for some time. I remember as an alderman in the 80s, one of my Black and Hispanic caucus speeches was that the African American men are becoming an endangered species. Abilities to take us in a new direction in terms of how law enforcement, clergy, and politicians, elected officials can move us in a new direction.
The people who know me and my parents, you know, I love New Haven. Like, I truly love New Haven just as well as the next person who's been here all their life. And, you know, I really, you know, it's a small joke, I kind of get homesick when I'm too far from New Haven.
Yes.
And I do want to see a mayor who could, you know, take a stand and take charges, and like you said, have a new vision, have a new direction.
Correct.
And you know, if the current mayor is not, then I, as you know, a person, as a citizen in New Haven, I do want to find, you know, the right next mayor who can lead us. That being said, we were talking a little bit, Mr. Graves and I, about the crime rate, but I really want to talk now about the crime rate, how big it is, and how, for all the viewers out there, I'm sure your team knows, but for the viewers who don't know, that New Haven is number 4 in the nation when it comes to crime rate.
I agree, and this mayor sent the wrong message. First of all, when he laid off the 16 police officers, when he did not really push for officers to get out their cars and start talking to neighbors, and also when we saw this rage that was going on, and I don't call it gangs, but I call it crews. I call it crews of people all over the city, on all 4 corners of our cities, that just feel like they can dominate our city. And I think they're just all asking for attention. And what I mean is some structured stuff. People like Chad Dawson and other leaders in this community and clergy and myself just getting together and putting some structural things together that would make their lives a lot different. And who's bringing the weapons in the city? So that is a whole area that we need state police and federal assistance to come in here and assist us in trying to figure out how we get this under control. Give the cities back to the men and women in this town that does a good job as our police officers. But when our mayor wants to micromanage it and it gets out of control, then he doesn't want anything to do with it. But he can go to Chicago and pick a chief that's a part-time chief, for example, and then we got people that start from rookies to sergeants to lieutenants and captains that can't even run the department but have the intelligence to run the department.
I heard from the grapevines, and please don't quote me, I don't know if it's true, but I just heard that. I wanted to bring it to your attention to see if we were on the same page. I heard the chief of police said, and I don't know how long it was, but I guess it was recent, that, you know, he was approaching the crime rate, and he said, well, where I'm from, we shoot people in the head.
Correct. There was a statement, I don't know.
But I mean, I took it, I must have took it the wrong way, because I took it, what kind of message, you being in that kind of position you're in, and the crime rate as it is, what kind of message are you sending to the young? I mean,
well, I think he meant that, you know, in Chicago, obviously there's a lot more crime going on, and there's a lot more gang activities, and they take direct hits. I think that's what he was referring to. I've had the pleasure of meeting him professionally, and I don't think that he meant that, you know, that people should go out and take headshots rather than arm shots or leg shots. But
I want to congratulate you. I read about, you know, when you were 16, you actually bought a house.
Yes.
And that's definitely a huge accomplishment. And I guess currently the same house you're living in now? Or?
Yes, I have it. I live next door to it. Actually, I brought another one next door to that.
Right.
And I live in that one. But however, I've owned it. This year marks 35 years.
Congratulations.
I brought it before I was out of high school, and it was an urban homesteading program.
And one of the things she talks about nowadays is taxes.
Taxes, yes, sir.
And, I think it was, she had on her bumper sticker, I believe, how can you own a house, but, with the taxes. What are you going to do with the taxes?
Well, the taxes are a problem in New Haven. I just paid mine yesterday. I think I paid close to $5,000. However, we really have to look at everything. Everything has to go on the table. The Board of Education, budgets, the people, like the mayor's, cronyism in terms of after being in 18 years, who's he got given jobs to that don't necessarily have to have jobs. When you put all those on the tables, we can save the taxpayers some money and redirect it to the youth programs and not to people who are designing curtains in new schools.
Right. I want you to promise me one thing, and to my viewers right now. If you are the mayor, would you come back on my show?
I would come back on your show, and I would invite you probably to be the MC of the biggest ball you ever seen in New Haven.
Okay, thank you. I definitely appreciate it.